we need to tap on 9 acupressure points or 9 meridian points. Okay. So, and let me first of all tell you what those 9 points are. The first point is called the karate chop point. And it is here, the fleshy part of the side of the hand between the base of the little finger and the wrist, right? So this is the karate chop point on which you will have to tap with the tips of 4 fingers of your other hand. So you will just tap like this, right? This is the first point, karate chop point. The second point is the eyebrow. It is actually the beginning of the eyebrow here. And on all the other points, we will use just the tips of our index finger and the middle finger, right? And we will gently tap like this. So eyebrow, which is actually the beginning of the eyebrow. The next one is side of the eye. Then under the eye. Actually, we have to tap on the bone, right? So under the eye, under the nose, here. Next one is chin. So even though I say chin, it actually means the crease between the lower lip and the chin, right? So we'll tap here. Then collarbone, which is the beginning of the collarbone here. So here, if you like, you can tap on both sides, or you can use your whole hand to tap like this. The next point, so collarbone. And the next point is under the arm, which is about 4 inches below the armpit. 4 inches below the armpit. Somewhere here, right? And the last point is top of the head, where you can again tap with the tips of 4 fingers, like this, right? So once more, karate chop point, eyebrow, side of the eye, under the nose, chin, collarbone, under the arm, that is 4 inches below the armpit, and then top of the head. These are the 9 points where we will tap, right? Now you can tap on either side of your body, right? Right side or left side, whatever you prefer. And you can use whichever hand you like. Okay. So these are the 9 acupressure points. Then we have the SUD level, which you need to know, which stands for subjective units of disturbance. And you have to rate the intensity, because we are doing it for fear. You would be rating the intensity of your fear on the scale of 0 to 10, 0 being the minimum intensity and 10 being the maximum. Right? All right. Then after that, let me tell you that you must tap at least 7 to 8 times at each point. Right? Even if you're able to say the reminder phrase, I'll just tell you what the reminder phrase is. You'll be saying a reminder phrase when you are tapping here. So even though if you are able to say the reminder phrase just 2-3 times, you should tap at least 7 to 8 times at each point. Right? Now we will frame a setup statement, which is very important here. Right? Some people call it the affirmation, but a more convenient term is a setup statement, because we would be using something negative there, and people say, why do we call it an affirmation when there's something negative there? And we are going to use something negative there because that is what we are going to eliminate from our system, which is fear in this case. Right? Now, in here, we would use the setup statement, even though I have this fear, I deeply and completely accept myself. Right? So why do we say I love and accept myself even though I have this fear? Now, if you want to release anything from your system, in this case it's fear, there are 3 steps. This is true for any negative issue, any negative emotion, right? There are 3 steps which are involved. The first step is acknowledge. the second is accept, and the third is release, right? So you have already acknowledged that you have this fear, right? So first step is taken care of. Second is accept. What does that mean? Now, I should be able to accept that fear in me. Yes, I have the fear of dogs. Now I don't, but I had it, right? So I should be able to accept that fear. And secondly, I should be able to accept myself in spite of that fear, right? Only when I love and accept myself in spite of that fear, the third step, that is release of that fear, becomes automatic. So you acknowledge, you accept, and the moment you accept, release becomes automatic. You don't have to work for it, right? And that middle part, even though I have this fear, this is the negative part which is being eliminated. And when you say, I love and accept myself, you send it out to the universe that, yes, I love myself, I accept myself, or I deeply and completely accept myself, right? Now, this is going to be a setup statement, but everyone has a different fear, right? So because I'll be doing it for the whole group, I will not be able to specify the fear. What you can do is, because all of you are muted, right? So I will just give a small pause after fear, say after saying fear. Even though I have this fear, I deeply and completely accept myself. So what you can say, what you can do is that, first of all, you must say it out aloud, right? Whether it's the setup statement or the reminder phrase, you have to say it out aloud. And because you all are muted, you can specify your particular fear, right? So somebody would say, even though I have this fear of public speaking, even though I have this fear of accidents, even though I have this fear of failure, whatever that fear is, right? Secondly, what is a reminder phrase? Now, when we tap here on the karate chop point with the 4 fingers, we would say the setup statement, right? After this, and we will say it 3 times. And you don't have to worry, you don't have to remember anything. You would be just saying it after me. So just be relaxed, right? Great. Then after that, you would be tapping at the various meridian points. You will tap 7 to 8 times, and you would be saying the reminder phrase. The reminder phrase just consists of 2 or 3 words. For example, here it would be this fear, and you would be saying this fear of failure, this fear of accidents, this fear of public speaking, whatever it is, right? So this is all you have to do, right?
Okay.
So any questions before we start the activity?
No, questions for this have not come in. I have a question to ask, Shabnam. Do you want everybody to write their fear and SUD on the group?
Yeah, that will come when I'll go through the whole, all the steps.
All right.
So,
and do you need to be stationary? Is it okay for you to be walking, or
you can do whatever you like. You can lie down, you can sit, you can walk, and you can do EFT. In fact, you can do EFT even while you are bathing, while you are taking a walk, and while you can utilize the time that you lose during commuting, or while waiting for while waiting in a queue, you can do that. So EFT is a very simple technique. It can be done wherever, whenever you like. So we'll start the activity, and I will come to the SUD level in a minute. All right. Now, just close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. This is just to relax you. Take 3 deep breaths. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. This is how you will do it. Just feel completely relaxed. Now just think about your fear that you want to let go of. Focus on it. You can think of your reaction when it last happened, when that particular incident last happened, or you can think about that fear when it got instilled in you. That is the first incident when you got this fear, whichever way you like. Or it can be the last time when it happened. Just focus on your reaction, the focus of that feeling that you got, focus on the fear that you have. Just think about it. You can think about the incident that happened or the feeling that you are getting. Focus well on your fear. Notice if it has any color. Does your fear have any color? If it does, what color is it? Does it have a shape? What shape is it? Does it have any texture? Or is it smooth? Is it hard or is it soft? Where exactly in your body do you feel this fear? In which part of your body do you feel this fear? Or the tension because of this fear? Just concentrate on that. And now you will rate the intensity of your fear on a scale of 0 to 10. This is your SUD level as far as the fear is concerned. Rate it on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being the minimum, 10 being the maximum. Zero means no fear at all. 10 means highest intensity. So just rate it on that scale. Just make a note of this number. And now we will start tapping. So we will do 2 rounds of this first. You will tap here at the karate chop point with 4 fingers of your other hand. And while tapping, you will say the setup statement, which is, even though I have this fear, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this fear, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this fear, I deeply and completely accept myself. Start tapping at the various points. Eyebrow, you don't have to say the various points like eyebrow, side of the eye. You will just say the reminder phrase. But I will keep on saying the points where you have to tap. So eyebrow, this fear, this fear, this fear. Side of the eye, this fear, this fear, this fear. Under the eye, this fear, this fear, this fear, this fear. Under the nose, this fear, this fear, this fear, this fear. Chin, this sphere, this sphere, this sphere, this sphere, collarbone, this sphere, this sphere, this sphere, this sphere, under the arm, this sphere, this sphere, this sphere, this sphere, top of the head, this sphere, this sphere, this sphere, this sphere. That completes one round of EFT, and I'm sure it hasn't taken more than 2 minutes. We'll do one more round. Once again, we will start tapping at the karate chop point. Even though, let's repeat after me, even though I have this fear, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this fear, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this fear, I deeply and completely accept myself. Eyebrow, this fear. Start tapping at the eyebrow point. This fear, this fear, this fear. Side of the eye, this fear, this fear, this fear, this fear. Under the eye, this fear, this fear, this fear, this fear. Under the nose, this fear, this fear, this fear, this fear. Chin, this fear, this fear, this fear, this fear. Collarbone, this fear, this fear, this fear, this fear. Under the arm, this fear, this fear, this fear, this fear, this fear. Top of the head, this fear, this fear, this fear, this fear. Just take a sip of water. Now, once again, you can close your eyes, think about your fear. Notice the part where you were feeling that fear or that tension because of that fear. And again, rate the intensity of that fear on a scale of 0 to 10. 0 being the minimum, 10 being the maximum. And note this value. Do you think it's still at that particular number or has it come down? We will do 2 more rounds of this technique and then we will rate the intensity once again. So let us start. Once again, start tapping at the karate chop point. Even though I have this fear, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this fear, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this fear, I deeply and completely accept myself. Eyebrow, this fear, 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 this sphere. Under the nose, this sphere, this sphere, this sphere. Chin, this sphere, this sphere, this sphere, this sphere. Collarbone, this sphere, this sphere, this sphere, this sphere. Under the arm, this sphere, this sphere, this sphere, this sphere. Top of the head, this sphere, this sphere, this sphere, this sphere. We'll do it one more time. Again at the karate chop point. Even though I have this fear, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this fear, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this fear, I deeply and completely accept myself. Eyebrow, this fear, this fear, this fear. Side of the eye, this fear, this fear, this fear, this fear. Under the eye, this fear, this fear, this fear, this fear. Under the nose, this fear, this fear, this fear, this fear. Chin, this fear, this fear, this fear. Collarbone, this fear, this fear, this fear, this fear. Under the arm, this fear, this fear, this fear, this fear. Top of the head, this fear, this fear, this fear, this fear, this fear. So that completes 4 rounds of this technique. This is the latest or the shortest version.